It's time for the big conversations, telling stories of movers and shakers, of industry giants and daring professionals. It's time for the conversations that change your perspective on life, the kind of conversations that shape entrepreneurs and move careers forward. If you don't know where these conversations are found, we are sending you a GPS. But if you're listening to this voice right now, you are here. Welcome to the Growth Podcast. This is the GPS.
All right, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Growth Podcast. Thank you very much for supporting the podcast thus far. We continue to have some exciting conversations. Remember that the podcast, I almost said cut, let's start again, but we're not going to do that. The podcast is brought to you by Best Life Insurance. Live your best life. Our conversation this week is with someone that really needs no introduction. If you've been in the country for quite a while, he has really made a name for himself in music. But this week, we're going to know him for a bit more than just music. And I'm talking about Roberto. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
The superstar.
You needed to run that properly. Like, listen, we've got the superstar, Roberto.
The superstar is here. Because earlier you confused me. You came with specs. I was like, okay. Yeah. Then you changed. I was like, I was going to ask you about that. But it's good to see you. How have you been?
Thank you. I've been great. I've been all right. I put on specs because I've always had like issues with my eyes. So yeah, now as age is catching up, seem to be weakening in strength, So I had an encounter. I was playing soccer, and then this ball just hit my face, and then it kind of like just I think started everything from there onwards. So I went to the eye clinic in Chawama, and they said, hey, actually you need to start wearing specs. And so yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, no, that clinic, for me, I feel like that's like the best eye clinic around. Yeah, because even when I was young, I used to wear specs. I stopped. So that's where I used to go. Komboka, that side, the SDI clinic.
Yes.
Yeah, those guys were there. They know everything.
Yeah,
but mostly I feel like Zambians, even just with general medical issues, you prefer these private hospitals because they look fancy. You can go live on Instagram.
Of course.
You don't want to go to UTH because,
No.
But the truth is that's where specialists are.
Yeah. No.
When things go south at your clinic, they'll take you to the UTH.
They take you that side, actually.
Yeah.
In most cases, they usually refer you to UTH. Most private clinics, at some point, they tell you need to go to UTH. Yeah. Because they know that's where the specialists are.
Yeah. I had a colleague of mine, the niece died because she was at one of these private hospitals and then she was misdiagnosed.
Ooh.
So where your problem is this, they say it's this, then they start treating the wrong thing now, giving you injections for the wrong thing, medication. And that's how she died.
Wow, that was tragic.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to the podcast. I've got these cards. I want you to pick 4.
Okay.
4 of them. At least you have an idea because we talked about this. No, don't look at them.
Oh, okay. No, let's do this.
Yeah. So just shuffle them.
We'll shuffle them like we're playing cards.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Then I just pick 4, right?
Just pick 4.
Okay, cool. So randomly?
Randomly.
Okay,
Pick
cool,
4, and then you ask the question, then you answer it.
I'll just lay them out for now, and then I'll just be picking out, if you don't mind.
No pressure.
I'm doing things almost as if it's my own rules.
As
if it's my own house. So, all right, cool.
Yeah. So
I
pick one. Ask.
Who deserves credit in your life that you've been slow to acknowledge? Ooh. That's a good one. I would say every person that broke my heart. At some point, they were extremely valuable in my life. These are people that at some point I called my one and only. I don't think many people like to go that route, and just give credit to people that were in their lives, because at some point, you are advised the right way by the people that are there at that particular point. And my growth hasn't just been one, just sprouted out and boom, everything was perfect from the beginning. Along the way, you meet people, you engage them in what you want to do, how you want to live life, and they contribute heavily, but then you go separate ways. I think it's a bit unfair at times to not acknowledge their input, but of course, for personal reasons, other people don't like to say, no, but why would you be crediting?
Yeah.
But I think it's only right and fair to say, oh, thank you so much for, advising me on ABCD. We are living separate lives. We don't talk or we don't meet, but you did play a part. And I think it's important to say thank you.
Yeah, I think most people look at them as like enemies,
Of course.
Yeah,
because we tend to think of what will our partners think, It's like, but why would you be crediting somebody else? But the truth is, each and every one of us have probably dated someone that probably opened our eyes a little wider to certain things, but we have, of course, forgotten the aspect of the relationship, but the knowledge that probably that they helped us acquire at that point was cardinal at that point. And maybe you're still using certain techniques that you were introduced to by somebody. It might not be your partner, your ex, but it could be a friend to your ex or a relative to your ex that maybe helped you somehow, some way. So sometimes we don't acknowledge those people that we meet, and then we fall off, but then we're still, proceeding with life, going our own direction with our current partners. So yeah.
It's like if Adele, the husband was insecure. No, why are you saying about your exes? But look at the money she's making.
Of course. Look, cultures differ, and like I said, it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
A lot of people might not really want to talk about it, and for various reasons, because no one ever wants to hear their partner talk about an ex and say, okay, yeah, no, this person did this. You feel a little intimidated. However, I don't think there's anybody out there who would say they learned everything from one relationship and that's what's working. You learned about a heartbreak and the pain of a heartbreak because of somebody. And so now you're living life avoiding certain things.
And loving better.
Because of what you experienced. So you cannot run away from that reality. So, yeah.
Yeah, because also I believe that every encounter you have, there's a reason for that.
Of course.
You get a point.
Of course.
I don't think God will just bring someone in your life just to waste your time for 2 years. And,
No. Because at some point you said you love that person. Yeah. And that's just the honest truth. You don't love them now, or you're not with them now, but at some point you did say you love this person. So, yeah.
Okay, card number 2.
All right. Card number 2, I'll pick this one. How do you best receive criticism? Oh, I love this. Criticism builds me, actually. Sometimes I thrive for criticism because it's like you need to pay a little more attention. Sometimes we react negatively to criticism without fully understanding that there could be something you could learn from that. So, of course, one is human. You're prone to feel a certain type of way. But sometimes, even when people are saying the most negative things, they are giving you leakage to something that your friends might not have told you. You might find someone say, who does this color matching? They're telling you something that probably you did not even think about. So it's important sometimes to take note of some of your critics, what they say. It's like checks and balances in politics.
Yeah.
Some of them will speak a certain type of way, but they could be mentioning something that you are overlooking, not intentionally, but you probably felt or thought, okay, this is fine, this is okay. But yeah, so for me, criticism is like one of the most cardinal parts of my career. It builds me, it helps me just see beyond.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of person are you? If you're reading comments on social media on a post you made, are you the one that is really you pay attention more to the negatives than those who praise you?
If anything, at times I look for the negatives. I look for the negatives because then sometimes I try to read in between the lines. There's certain people that say certain things negatively just to hurt you because they too are hurt. Certain people say certain things because they just want attention. They don't have that attention. They have understood that they might not match to the person you are currently and in their life. Not saying that they will never amount to anything in the near future, but at that precise moment, a lot of people will come out and criticize someone a certain type of way. Very good example. Have you ever noticed how a man will praise a woman? When you see a woman, this woman, I would make you my wife, I'll do this. But the minute the woman says no, what do most men say? After all, you get my point. It's like there's that split. Sometimes you say certain things, not because you mean it, but because you are hurt. The fact that you've been denied a certain possibility of being with that person. And sometimes people on social media that criticize us so heavily and so rudely, they probably don't even come from the same background that you come from. They are probably not enjoying the things that you are enjoying. They might not even have electricity. They might not have the phone you have, but they'll criticize you. It's like someone that will criticize you and say, but look at that person who's driving that type of car. But meanwhile, the person that's criticizing you is in a minibus. I've seen situations like that where on a weekend and I'm driving a Vitz because, why do I have to move around with a 4-liter engine vehicle just to go and buy bread? And someone is in a minibus. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, which car are you in again? And it's a minibus. You get it? So people do these things because they just want to make you feel bad. You understand? And so you need to be able to filter some of these things and just understand. Because imagine someone says something like that, and then I jump out of the car and tell the bus driver, hey, remove that person. You need to look at the two. Who's driving and who's not? That person is laughing at someone who's driving. Do you know how much I've had to spend just to have this vehicle in here? Do you know how much I spend to service a vehicle? It could be a Vitz, it could be a Corolla, it could be a Hilux, it could be a Ford Ranger, but each vehicle itself has got a certain tag to it for it to be moving on the road. It's not easy. The fact that you don't have it, you shouldn't laugh at me.
No,
if you're on the passenger seat, worse off, don't laugh at anyone. You're just being given a ride.
You remind me of that thing in school. At school, if you fail, right? And then you have that conversation with your parents about your report form and whatnot, you didn't do very well. And then you say, no, but tinafero kawambidi.
No,
Because
it's nothing like that.
You see, that just shows that we thrive in misery.
Yes.
Even get wambidi. So it's like you said, if I'm not doing very well, I also don't want Roberto doing well.
Exactly.
So it's park stand down. You get the point. So they also want to see how they can criticize you and bring you down.
That's true.
Let's go to card number 3.
Okay, pick this one. I can see the color is different. How do you prevent missed opportunities? Ooh, prevent and missed. These are two different scenarios altogether. You know what I mean? Prevent and missed. Yeah, I would rather prevent missed opportunities. I think it's just a point of reflection in life. I have missed great opportunities. Yeah, great opportunities. I would say ever since, I've learned a lot since the release of the song Amarula, I will not lie to you. I have gotten to meet individuals that have loved my personality, those that have despised my personality. That's when I kind of like fully understood the term public figure and how people perceive certain people. So you find that there are people who look at me and judge me before I even open my mouth. I've been a victim of people's perception without even knowing who I am. Just this morning, I got a call from a friend of mine and they were telling me, oh no, there's someone who's been tagging you somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's great. I've been seeing and I've been reposting. And I said, no, they wanted you to be talking to them. I said, but talk about what? Like, they just tag me in stuff and I simply respond to that. No, they wanted to be close friends with you, ABCD. But you see, that's the thing. You find that someone won't outrightly come and say, listen, I'd like us to be good friends or business partners and that sort of thing. But then what they're thinking, they think you're also thinking what they're thinking. And so you find a situation where that person is going to go and say, oh, Roberto is rude. Why? No, he was not responding to me. Like, but did I know what your intentions were? So I have gotten to learn that people will have their own opinion and perceive you a certain type of way, even before they really know you. So the way we are, for example, in this room, before I even started speaking, I can guarantee you there's a possibility that everyone in here has heard a certain story about me. Or either I'm rude, or I'm this, or I'm that. But it's only when you get to know the person that you understand that person. So I have missed several opportunities based on other people's perceptions about me before they even know me. So what I've opted to do is I'm more of a very quiet person. Whenever I'm somewhere, I try my best to interact and engage with people so that I kill that stigma that's there that people have thinking, okay, I'm a stuck-up guy. I'm full of myself.
Yeah.
I'm rude. I'm this and that. Because those that know me, I think they always shock like, wait, what? Do they even know how crazy you are? So there's a certain side of me that people don't really know because I'm not that loud on social media. I'm open with people that I'm open with and that are open with me and that are close to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel the need to correct this perception or to I'd like to set the record straight. This is who I really am. Do you feel the need to do that?
I don't think there's a huge possibility in me getting to convince every single person on this planet. But what I do know is that whenever I have an opportunity to engage and interact with people, I try my best to be who I am. And many people will tell me, I had the wrong impression about you. And I always ask, what did you like? Like, no, because most of the times you're quiet. So we think you are rude, you're stuck up, but that's not the case. So, yeah.
Reminds me of my days in high school. So I was pretty popular in my grade 12 because I used to do a lot of debates. And you know how debates used to pull crowds.
Same here.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of that.
So I So it's like musicians, right? Some people on stage, you see, he's very out there, he's very expressive. Then when he's off stage, he's a different person, he's just quiet, you know.
It's like an alter ego.
Yeah, exactly.
My friends say I have an alter ego because the minute I just get on stage, it's like I'm a different person altogether.
Exactly.
Sometimes people are like, where did you get that energy from? Like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, because you're on stage, that's your craft.
Yeah.
So for me, what just happened then was, I never used to talk to girls because I was shy. So I never used to talk. I'm telling you, I was at a boys' school. So I was like a Kablonga
Can
boys.
someone please give me a card? We need to ask this man a question.
Yeah. So I was at a boys' school, right? So I never used to talk to girls. So now again, it's that thing where one, he doesn't talk to them because he thinks that no, they're not his level. You get a point, right?
Yeah.
Someone think like that.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to them, no, he thinks he can get in a girl because he thinks it's all that. So whatever you do, really, someone always has an opinion, and I understand where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Our final card.
Last and final one. Okay. What seemingly insignificant thing contributes greatly to your happiness? What seemingly insignificant thing contributes greatly to your happiness? Ooh. Can I say money?
Insignificant. Money is insignificant.
I'm just joking.
I was like, guys, give us some. It's insignificant.
Come on, man.
It takes it.
I don't know how I could define this or interpret it. I would have to really just try and see how best I can digest and define and decipher insignificant thing, because I feel like there are a lot of things that they're like tributaries like to everything that I'm doing, right? So this one meanders into this and that, and yeah, I'm not so much of a difficult person to please and satisfy. So minor things, of course, mean a lot to me. So it might seem insignificant to somebody, but to me it means a lot. So I feel like simple gestures as well as just appreciating me and who I am makes me happy. Sometimes when we go out, people think I am a heavy, how can I put it? Like you need to have like a serious budget. Guys, I just love shima with beans, rep, and carpenter. That's me. If you ask my friends, they'll tell you. That's whenever we travel out of town, that's all I ask. Not fish, not shanshan, not T-bone. Nah. So there's certain things that people find a certain type of way, or this is significant, or this is insignificant. But for me, it's just the simple things that matter.
Okay.
Yeah, simplicity for me is key.
All right. You see, not very difficult questions.
Nope.
You're very strategic in your peaking. Roberto, where'd the Roberto name come from?
So when I was at High Ridge High School, I had a name called DJ Shan. Hold up. DJ Cool Dog. Oh my gosh. It's even embarrassing just to mention it. Yeah, that was my name. So the reason why I was called DJ Cool Dog is because then Tupac, Snoop, those are like, like they were their peak. And that's what we were listening to like every day. Doggy Style, Shanshan, Meadows, a case. And my mom would always hate it. Like, why are people just listening to music that's got cuss words? The song starts, the first word is the F word. I'm just like, this is the song. So, just going with the vibe and the flow. My name was DJ Cool Dog. Then, my late brother worked at ZNBC. He was a sports personality and on-air presenter. So one day he challenged me and said, so if you're going to be a DJ, do you think the people at ZNBC are going to hire a person called DJ Cool Dog? I was just like, this man is ruining my dreams. How does he challenge a cool name like that? But for me, it was because that was what's happening. There was Nick Dog, there was Shan Dog, that's Dog. So I felt like I was part of the pound as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm a dog. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm a dog as well. So respect the name. Then I sat and then there were programs like Shira, He-Man, Shanshan. Then I saw a book. There was Mickey Mouse and everything. I was like, wait a minute, Mickey. People like Mickey Mouse. So I changed my name to same spelling as Mickey, but then I put like a little hyphen somewhere there and I started calling myself Mikey. So grade 10, grade 11, 12, my name was Mikey. But when I was in school playing basketball with my friends, please don't be deceived by my height. I was a basketball captain. So when I traveled to South Africa, I was a captain for my basketball team from grade 11 and grade 12. And so what a boys school as well. So different people coming from different countries. Most of my friends were either from Angola, Portugal, France, Italy, that sort of thing. So everyone's name had an O at some point. There was Gilberto, there was Alberto, there was Pedro, there was this one. So there's a guy that used to come and watch us play, used to grant us transport, and he was like, "Yeah, Roberto." So it was Roberto's in the beginning. Roberto's, pass the ball. Roberto's, 3 points. So we did a song. I'll play it for you guys one of these days. Right at the beginning of it, I did not like that name. And this guy, out of, like, he was making fun of me. He mentioned the same, "I got my boy Roberto's, Putos fly, blah, 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 explosive." And that's how the name started. So they removed the S and it was Roberto. And I just said, you know what? So be it. That's how the Roberto name came up.
Okay, and what was your first point of fame? Like, you go like, what?
It was in South Africa when we went on a station called YFM. And that show was a big show. There was a show that used to come every Wednesday. It was a hip hop show because I was a rapper then. So we went on this show and we did our thing. The following day when we went to school, we were talk of the week. And that was like the beginning. For me, I loved that. I was just like, this is it. This is what I want, permanently. So when that happened, we took our music like extremely serious. We started saving up. We started looking for studio spaces to record. We used to go to any cypher, anything that would just grant us. We would go to different pubs and clubs. When we hear that, okay, there are rap battles this side, we'd go there. And then when we took things extra, we started working on a hip-hop compilation called The Takeoff. We started recruiting certain artists to come on board, and I was producing majority of the songs there. Then where I was staying, here you'd call them flats, but that side they're calling them by something else. So where I was staying, there were a number of people that were industry personnel or industry people. And one of them was a lady called Ntlantla, who's a member of a group called Mafikizolo. Yeah. Her husband's name was called Sbu. Then they had started promoting an artist called Mzekezeke. So whilst they're doing that, of course, they were pushing Mafikizolo and the like. So I used to go to her house almost every Saturday and Sunday. So I would bother them every weekend, like, yo, please just put us on a show. So they had a show at the Val, and then she said, okay, cool, you guys should come through, but you need to come with your own transport. And that's how we went there, and that was the first time we performed on a big stage. It was thanks to Ntlantla from Mafikizolo. And that was it. That was the beginning. That was the first time I performed in front of more than like 800 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fast forward to Amarula. I feel like to date, that's your biggest song, right?
It is, definitely. And it has opened so many doors, changed my life in so many ways. And I do not know how I can still describe it, because to date, we still have people, even the newer generation, that are still listening to that song and appreciating it. I get correspondence from different people across the world. It really just is still growing. And someone one time wanted to make me feel bad about the song. Like, no, so why do you keep posting this song? And I'm just like thinking, if this was your child, would you abandon your child just because they've grown? But you see, that's the thing about individuals. They always want to make you feel bad about something that is still a success. And for me, I just said, no, I'm still going to push the song. I'm still going to appreciate the song. Even 20, 30 years from today, we have artists that are coming into this country today. Look at artists like Boyz II Men. When did you start listening to Boyz II Men? But they still come here and perform songs that were classics back in the days. But up to today, they're still amazing to listen to. So I have just grown to understand and appreciate that song and say, listen, this is a song that is just on a level of its own. I will not compete with it. I will not try to disturb it. I'll just leave it as it is. I'll promote it when I can, when I should. Sometimes I look at the streams and stats, and then I think to myself, okay, let me promote it once again. And once we do like a 1 week promotion, we see the difference, because then it kind of like just people just like, oh, this song is, I used to love the song, and it comes back. So it's a big song to date, and one of the biggest, of course, for me.
The level of fame and accolades that Amarula brought you,
yeah.
Do you feel, or did you ever feel like you're not ready to deal with this sort of fame?
I wasn't ready. I'll not lie to you. When Amarula came out, I was not ready. I did not expect the song to be that big. Not even a single bit. I knew it was a good song. I knew it. And my brother didn't even like the song in the first place, because it was so different from what I usually produce. He never liked it. He was like, this song, you want to put it out? Okay, give it a shot. But I don't know. Maybe people might not like it. And what really happened was we released it in October. A week later, President Michael Sata died. So there was that 1 month of national mourning. And I gave up. I was just like, hey, this song is not going to go anywhere. Because when we released it, I remember I went around playing the song for a few people. And one of the few people that listened to it was DJ VGZ. He was the first DJ to play that song at a club. I remember there was News Cafe by, what's that place again? Opposite East Park. Acacia Park. Yes. Yeah, there was News Cafe there. That was the first place where I went and played that song. I performed it, VGZ played it, and then from there we came by Chilenje. I had another event and I performed it. And I remember TK, the producer from Roma Side, was presenting at that. And then when I played it the first time, he pulled me and said, yo, perform that song again. This song is going to be a big song. I was like, are you serious? Like, this song is going to be a big song. And that's how we performed it again. So from there, I was just like, okay, there's something special about the song. Then we released it. Just when we released it, a week later, President Michael Sata died. Went into 1 month of national mourning. Then when national mourning was lifted, I was just surprised the song was everywhere. And I remember asking my brothers, like, where were these people playing this song? Because as far as I was concerned, nobody was supposed to be playing secular music, even at the bars. But then it was everywhere. I was just like, wait a minute. So I started now looking for who could shoot the video. So I remember I had a meeting with Vatis, and Vatis had an amazing idea just about, adding the African culture to it and that sort of thing. And then I thought, okay, that's a brilliant idea, but my vision is global, way beyond this. And I felt like this song has to be my breakout song out of Zambia. So I was going through a number of videos. Then there was a guy that had come home and he showed me a video that he shot in South Africa. I was just like, this is great. And that artist is called Kaladoshas. So Kaladoshas came through and showed me one of his first videos that he shot in South Africa. And that's what inspired me to go and shoot in South Africa. So I asked him, can you please give me the number for the person that shot your video? So when I tried to reach out to that person, they told me, okay, we're busy during this period. We're shooting ABCD. So I now had to start looking for another video director. That's how I came across a guy called Carl White. So I messaged him. And then he got back to me and said, oh, this is a great song. What plans do you have and what vision do you have, so then I can create a script? So I sent almost like a treatment to him, a draft treatment. He looked at it and said, this is a brilliant song, brilliant idea. Let's do it. That's how I flew to South Africa. I remember I had a show in Livingston. That money I made in Livingston, I sent the money from a booth to my niece in Kawe and said, please go to the bank right now and deposit this money. That's how she deposited the money and flew to South Africa, shot the video, came back. When the video was ready, the time I was in South Africa, I made friends with people from MTV and that sort of thing. Then they said, listen, this is November. If we put this video on rotation now, everyone wants to have rotation during the festive period. We might only be playing this song once in 2 weeks. But if you wait until next year in February, we might give you 5 spins a week. And I'm just thinking, guys, do you know how hot this song is right now for me to wait until next year? And the lady said, be patient. Trust me. This is a good song and you need to have enough rotation for it to become a big song. So I waited until February. And that's when they started playing it. I think the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I thought, okay, nothing special will happen. Then videos started coming. Twitter was all over the place. Whose song is this for? Then people just oh, Roberto. Whose song is this for? Roberto. And that's how the song started growing. The amount of money that I put into the Amarula song, I got back from the first show I had in Rwanda, plus change. True story. Every single penny that I paid for that video, from flights, accommodation, clothes, everything, I got that money back from the first international show I had in Rwanda. And that's how I made my money off Amarula.
Is that where the superstar name came from, Amarula?
No. The superstar name came from my late sister. So when, from childhood days, I've always been singing. Music has really been something that in our family I've grown up loving. Even my mom, my dad, music lovers, everybody loved music back home. So we would do all household chores via singing. When power goes, my mom would make sure we start singing so that we kill time. You know, when we're cooking, it's singing. So everything was music inclined. So my late sister always, when I started singing now from rapping, she would say, "You're gonna be Luther Vandross's competition," you know, because she loved Luther Vandross. And she's like, "No, one day you're gonna be a superstar." So she'd be like, "Yeah, you're a superstar, you're a superstar, you're a superstar in the making." That's where the name came from. So it started from like when I was in grade 7, somewhere there. But it's something that I never really took seriously to that extent. So when I was now working on an album and I was looking for a name, I had the image of what I wanted to use as my album cover. And whilst I was busy reflecting and looking at it, that's when it hit me. Like, she saw something in me whilst I was young. And I said, okay, I'm going to name my album Superstar after the name that my sister gave me. And from there onwards, I didn't impose it on people. People just started saying superstar, superstar, superstar. I was just like, okay, cool. And that's how I just I just went with the flow and said, okay, cool. If that's my name, so be it. And one day my mom says, you need to embrace the glory, that blessings that God has given you. I'm like, yes. And she's like, because you're a superstar. I'm like, please mention my name, put superstar in my name. So she says, yes, superstar Roberto. I was like, that's the one. So my mom was like, yeah, you need to be saying superstar Roberto. I was like, please, everyone. So when you're doing an intro, please add superstar, then Roberto.
Okay, so your brother is also into music and coming from a musical family. Did you guys ever, see the need to compete?
My brother is not my competition, not even one single bit. Not even one single bit. From back in the days, if anything, people knew me at school as the artist. My brother kept it a secret from almost everybody. But the first time I ever wrote a song is because I saw him writing music with his friends. And I just decided, whatever it is that they're doing, I'm going to do it. So he's been an inspiration even before I could write my first song. I used to see what he was doing. I saw how passionate he was about music. And I was just like, this is cool. So I decided, like, my first song that I ever wrote was because I saw him writing music. Then I decided, let me write a song of my own. That's how I started. And it's surprising that to date, some of his songs that you people have danced to are songs that I have written. And he's happy at the fact that we can, complement each other. It isn't out of malice or it's not competition. He's a gifted songwriter. There are times he sings certain things and I'm just like, yeah, it's not going to make sense. But then after mixing everything else, I'm just like, wait, this is genius thinking. You get it? And so that's the thing. I have just grown to accept him as he is. He's different from, I would say, Roberto is. You understand? And that's the beauty about it. We've got different mindsets. He's got a certain ear for music. So do I. I produce, he produces. I can write, he can write. So when we combine our forces together, it's almost like we complement each other. So maybe I might write one line, he would write another line, and you find that by the time we're done with the song, it's just a masterpiece. So I can never be in competition with my brother. Like, he's not my competition. Never.
And
he's a mentor. He's like an angel in disguise to some extent, because I would say everything that I am today is because I've seen what he's able to do and capable of doing. And I'm just like, wow, this is great. I can do it as well. So,
right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about relevance.
Yeah.
Staying relevant. Because mostly you find that music is sort of like generational. So they're like, no, those guys, when MC Wabu, who are not doing music anymore. But you sort of are still relevant even today. Most of your peers, I'm sure, are either in that no man see that you get the point, right? What do you think has made you relevant, and how do you keep yourself relevant even to today's generation?
I would say just trying to accept scenarios, situations, as well as understand the mood, music change. It's like the way we've adapted. My first phone was a Motorola back in the days.
Which one? The one with the big head? Is it C110 or something?
Oh man, it was a giant phone, man. If you throw it at somebody, serious injuries. Yeah, but then that was like one of my first phones. Then I moved to Ericsson. Then I moved to another Motorola. Then I moved to Samsung, the Flip. I once used the Motorola, what's it called? Motoreza.
Motoreza, yeah.
Yeah, Nokia. I think it was 8850. So with time, all these things come, and what you need to realize that all these phones, for example, that I've mentioned, at some point, these were like the phones back in the days. But if you have them now, they're like legend, they're like classic phones, right? And now we have all these iPhones 14s, we've got Samsung S20, whatever, this and that, Huawei. So it is important for you to realize that in as much as you are able to adapt to different specs of technology in this life and era, you too should be able to evolve around what is happening, what's trending. Not to say that you should lose your identity. And that's the one thing that I love to do. I can change sounds, this and that. For example, 8 years ago or 10 years ago, no one would have imagined I would have produced and sang a song like Fiancé. You get it? I was more of the Akasuba, save our love, like the very mellow, but now like jumba, jumba, jump. So like you kind of like always have to try and find a way to balance and fit into what's trending now. And that's what I try to do. So in any song, I can guarantee you right now, anyone that's watching, go and listen to any song that you feel like is one of the strangest Roberto songs. You find that at some point, I always bring it back to the melodic Roberto. There'll be at least a few lines that take you back like, okay, yeah, that's Roberto, 100%. So I try to stay as original as possible, but I also realize that I need to be as current as possible.
Okay. Earlier we were talking about your evolution.
Yeah.
In terms of you breaking away from just doing music. You've got that T-shirt for your security for your security company.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do other businesses? And tell us, what businesses do you do that the ordinary Zambian may not know about?
Several. So we have a recording studio, first and foremost, Brotherhood Studios, where we record different artists. In the past, we had artists like Manas, Titani, Mandela, Young Rico. But also, we do help other artists, just nurturing them, helping them. Other artists just come in to record, they seek guidance and that sort of thing. Also, I do some consultancy for different artists. We also do social media management. We do YouTube page management. We manage artists' YouTube accounts just to ensure that their accounts are in order and the likes. I wish I could give more details, but that's the reason why I'm not going to tell you, so that then you can come to me and then I'll charge you for consultancy. But yeah, so we do that. That's on the studio side. Also, I do voiceovers for different other brands, different institutions. We do adverts in-house. So we were able to create a radio ad for you from beginning to end, from the script to the recording, mixing, mastering. Also, we have a video production line, which is Brotherhood Films. Most of the videos that you've seen in the past have been from our production house, but also I do work with other videographers, video directors. We've worked with ERT and K-Blaze. I've worked with Lance Cooper. I've worked with, who else? I've worked with DJ Low. I've worked with Cirex. I've worked with quite a number of other videographers. I think I might not remember the rest. So in as much as we do things in-house, we do also, of course, get to work with other people from different other production houses. Also, we have a security firm, which is what I'm wearing right now. So we offer security services for different institutions where we have security guards, be it private or commercial and that sort of thing. So I try as much as possible to diversify into different businesses. Oh, by the way, we also have a courier company. So we do courier. If you purchase something and you want it delivered to your house or to your premises, we do that. And yeah. What else?
The businesses, what kind of businessman are you? In terms of how do you run your business? What's your leadership style? What's your governance system like?
I am almost like a leader who's open to ideas, because what you need to understand is that every person that you work with possess a certain skill that might not be your A-grade skill, but you can learn something from that person. So when you have an institution or you're running a company and you are a leader, you need to be open to ideas. Don't close out people, regardless of who they are or position or rank. So for example, some of my security guys, you'll be amazed. Every time we're trying to do something, they know somebody somewhere, So a friend of mine was looking for cooks, and I asked one of the security guys, like, do you know somebody? And they said, yes, we know this person. And you find that person has got incredible skills. So you can never underestimate anyone in life. Always have an open door policy where people can come and speak to you, because you do not know what you might learn from that person. But of course, a leader will always be a leader, and you need to lead by example. So you cannot expect someone to be hardworking if you're not hardworking. And don't just sit there thinking, okay, yeah, you guys, you need to do this, you need to do that. Sometimes it's important for you to be there and help set up. My manager does not like it at all. Sometimes when we go somewhere and we have, maybe we're shooting a commercial, or we're shooting my music video, I'm the guy who's setting up the camera. It's like, but listen, this guy who's supposed to be doing it, why are you doing it? But for me, I feel like I need you to understand how passionate I am about what we're doing. Because what I'm doing is not only helping me, but it's also helping you. And if I am paying you, it simply means I need to contribute somehow, somewhere for you to see the passion. Because if I'm just seated somewhere, that person behind my back might be saying, if without us, they're not going to do it. And that's what I don't like. I would love to work with people who see how determined I am. And so that's the type of person that I am.
Okay. And how is it like running a business and being famous? Do you feel like
it has its pros and cons. The pros are, of course, people will hear you out. Then there are others that feel like, but you're just an artist. The musician, what do you know? So sometimes people will start asking you certain questions using certain terminologies that they use in-house, and you'll be like thinking, okay, what's that? So you kind of like just ask, okay, so what exactly do you mean? Or what sort of services are you expecting from me? Because others feel like, okay, now you've come to our arena.
Yeah.
Let's now fire the questions. So there are people who you might inspire via the music you do, but then when you enter their offices, they feel like, okay, now it's my turn to make you feel like, here I'm the boss. So we experience that quite a lot. But at the end of the day, you need to realize that you've gone there looking for a service and you're offering a service. It's a business service. That person is a client, a possible client, and you need to be able to be as professional as possible in the manner that you conduct yourself and the way that you offer your services. We had a scenario just a few weeks ago where one of our workers, did something, and then they called me. No, your guys are very unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like thinking, this is a close friend of mine. But because that's his workspace, I need to understand where he's coming from. So we called for a meeting and we had a sit down, understood what their concerns were, and we resolved those issues. So there's like, you take off your artistic hat and you now, follow through the correct procedure of how you handle business management and that sort of thing.
Okay. And in the time that you've been running your businesses, what lessons would you say you had to learn the hard way?
Oof. You need to learn that not all profits come the first time or first months around. You sacrifice a lot. Any business out there, you have to sacrifice a lot. You find at times business won't go well, so you have to dig into your own pockets, your personal money, but with determination and desire to learn and thrive, the results will start to manifest along the way. And that's the one thing that I've come to realize. Nothing comes easy. Even just the startup itself is quite complex for many. Look at all the offices that you have to go to, even just to register a business. That is one of the first true tests of your determination to start something. Because many feel like, okay, I can start a clothing business. Quite all right, you can start it. But you need to understand, you need to go and buy the clothes. You need to take pictures. You need to edit the pictures. You need to post. And when you post, you need to boost. You need to now manage the affairs of your business. So there are all those steps and stages that you now need to understand, from it just being an idea for you being able to execute well as market yourself. So there are all those levels that along the way you learn, especially for people like myself who, there's certain businesses you have not gone to school to acquire a certain level of knowledge on business management, but then it's like a job on training. So it does not hurt to ask. And that's what I always do. I ask friends who are in that business, say, how do you do this? How do you handle this? How do you handle this? Because they too had to learn from someone. And it doesn't hurt to pass down that information, because in the next few months or years, another person might come to me and say, how have you handled your business? So the first few weeks or first few months, you find that you step on rocky ground and you stumble a little bit, but that should not mean that you should back down and say, I'm not going to proceed. So for me, it's like a learning curve, and you learn by the day, but you need to improve at the same time.
Okay. There's always this conversation around systems for a business, where, for example, if today you have a show in SA, for example, maybe
Yes.
on tour, what happens to your businesses?
Well, that's the reason why you need to have competent people and individuals to support you and you work with. It's difficult if you're a one-man army. Then there's some complexity there, but knowledge has to be passed down. And in my case, they are individuals that work with me that know what needs to be done. So that's where teamwork comes in. You're just not a one-man show. You need to be able to pass on certain information and knowledge to other people so that then the business continues to flow. And when it's weekend, we all know it's time to go and do other work. But like, for example, with the security firm, I am a hands-on person. Sometimes I go place to place just to monitor what the guys are doing. And they know it. Sometimes they even say, I'm just like, no, I just came by just to check on how you guys are doing and just ensure that everything is going well. So yeah, that's...
So how many security guards do you have?
That's private information.
We
have quite a number.
Yeah, I was asking because I need to measure the scale of your business.
We have quite a number.
Okay.
Yeah, we have quite a number. We have quite a number of sites that we are providing our services to. I think about 6 different companies.
Okay.
Yeah, that we're working with. So
what took you to security? Because like looking at the kind of person you are and the field you're in, like security.
I was inspired by my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, I was inspired by my brother-in-law and just how he was passionate about this service. So he's doing it on the copper belt. And yeah, I thought this is something that I would love to do as well. And for me, safety is key. So at some point, I started hiring people for my safety and that sort of thing because at times you go to certain areas and you cannot preempt what people will do or, how they'll act. So yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, okay, let me give it a try and see how it goes. Plus, a friend of mine, we were just talking about it, and he said, "Listen, there's an opening ABC this side." I was like, "Okay, let me just take it serious." So what had happened was, I think about 4 years ago, I had registered the business, but then I didn't really start. So when someone told me about it, I thought, let me just give it a shot, and that's how we kind of just took it serious. So the business, we had registered it maybe like 4 years ago, but it's only recently that we started operations.
So you have a partner?
Yes, I do.
That's going to be my next question because most businesses, right, you find you start off the right footing, but sometimes you find that you and your partner are dragging in different directions, where you want this. And because like you said, business really isn't like we start today, tomorrow making money.
That's true.
You get a point, right?
Yeah.
So you have a partner who, guys, and they start getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Then they begin to like disconnect,
That's true.
How do you identify the right partner? Where you say, you know what, this person, I can go to bed, this is the right person that I'm working with.
I think it's about trust. It's like a marriage, you come from 2 different backgrounds and 2 different levels of understanding of certain things, ideologies and the likes. But then when we sit down and we start planning about some of these things, it's important that we are one. Our ideas are married together. What are the core values? What exactly do we want to achieve, in the level of services that we're providing? Because you need to look at your customers and your clients. How well are we balancing everything that we're doing? And it starts from there, to be honest with you. So once you have a great understanding with your partner, then it's easy. Transparency is also very important because sometimes someone would think, okay, you're getting a deal from somewhere else. But if you're transparent about everything, I think it makes life much, much, much easier. Because some of the people that I know and some of the people that you may know, if we put heads together, you find that we are all growing at the same time. So if, for example, we start something, but then you also want to start your own secret firm somewhere, then we'll have a challenge. So for me, that's really important to just be transparent and open as a team, and that's what works.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you talked about having like a really good team behind you.
Yes.
How do you instill your and I'd like to ask this question because most people struggle with this. This is where I'm going. This is where the business should be. But the guy that you employ may not be aligned. He has his own interests. He is looking for himself and whatnot. But you really are focusing on this is the direction we're going.
Yeah.
And this guy wants to go this side. As a business owner, as a leader, how do you align this person so that they then go in your direction? Because once that's in place, I believe then you avoid things like, no, you're not around, they're doing their own things.
That's true.
Whether you are around or not, because we are in the same direction, I don't have to worry.
Discipline is very important. My guys know I'm very strict. Our supervisor always says, depending on which side our boss wakes up, things might go a certain type of way. I am one person that's extremely strict. However, I do not shy away from giving people real life examples. And I always like to do that because I want people to understand why they are where they are and what they're doing it for. So we usually have like these team talks almost every week where I remind the guys, say, what are you here for? Is it the money? Are you bored? Or is something else? If you're here for the money, why are you here for the money? There must be a reason why you wanted employment. And people need to realize that any given opportunity that you have, there's another person that will easily replace you. So what values are you bringing? Are you bringing value for yourself, value to the company, or you're just here just to waste time? So at times it's when you give people real life experience examples that they realize the core values of what they're doing. Because, any business out there, people come with their own ideologies. People come with their own moods. Wherever it is where they're coming from, they could have had challenges. All of us today, maybe there's someone that said something that ticked us off, but we're here. What exactly has brought us here? Is it because you feel compelled to be here or you love what you're doing? So if you love what you're doing, then do it with passion. So sometimes you have to acquire certain skills that helps people understand you and helps them understand themselves to work diligently and, of course, be prompt and punctual. But, of course, sometimes you may tell someone this, it enters from one ear, it comes out from the other ear. We've had scenarios where someone does the same thing 3-4 times, and that's where you now have to be firm, and you have to follow the rules and regulations and terms and conditions of the agreements that you have with that person, because others will take advantage of your kindness, and that's just the honest truth. So there's certain people, when you are very kind to them, the boss kind of like wears off. For them, it's just, it's our friend, and I was a you know what I mean? So sometimes it's important for you to be as human as possible, but at the same time, you need to be as strict as possible to a point where they understand why they are where they are.
Is it too strict? Is it easy to be strict when they also see you as, they're also your fans?
That's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. I have one of my workers, every time we meet up, they say, please take pictures. And we take pictures. This person can come at 21. Our boss name was on. My pictures na manje. So, so at times I'm just like thinking, should I tell this person they're not supposed to call me this time? And I'll just say, I'll send them to you tomorrow. Please, I'll send them tomorrow. But then when we meet, say, but why would you call me around that time? Don't you know that working hours, ABCD? No, boss, ABCD. So there are ways in which I try to be able to separate where there's the fun parts and there's this is our boss part. Of course, you cannot take away the fact that you have people that enjoy what you're doing. When they're home, it's something that gives them pride and say, I'm working for this person. This is our boss. They're out there. They're also promoting whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So you cannot hinder the love and passion that they have for you as a celebrity, if I can put it in that context, or a public figure. Then there's the work part. And I always try to be able to distinguish between the two. I always tell them, when we're away from here, you can meet me and we can say high five, ABCD, I can buy you a drink, but when at work, it's work. So, yeah, I try to balance the two. It's not easy, but yeah, it happens. Sometimes they call me midnight.
The direction that you've taken as a musician who is successful and also to be enterprising.
Yeah.
Is it something that is commonplace among your peers, for example? Or how do your peers respond to all these businesses you're doing when they just feel like, it's a change in music?
It's very important for you to be able to venture into other businesses. The truth is, and I don't know how many times I've said this, especially when I meet young artists on one-to-one basis, I always tell them that music is seasonal. It's seasonal, trust me. Today, you'll be at number one. Next year, there'll be another person. The other year, there'll be another person. Then, by God's grace, 3 years later, He grants you an opportunity to have another number one song that will take you for another year or two and give you great shows. Which, if you honestly weigh in on a lot of our artists in the country, that is what is happening. Back in the days, for example, when an artist like Danny releases an album, the entire album would take him 1 whole year and it's just him at number one, depending on the song that is trending on the ground. So here you find, oh, Chikonde Chako Julie, it's number one. Next, it's this one. Not to see my chain. So like you'd find that there's prolonged time that an artist will have to have a number one song or number one album. Nowadays, because we have an influx of artists, everybody's hungry to be at number one. That's what everybody wants. When you release a song, you want it to be at the top. So a lot of people have now developed certain ideologies, mechanisms on how to trend. Social media has become quite a pivotal tool. Back in the days, it would just be, my brother, can you share the song for me? Nowadays, someone to share that song, you have to pay them something. So there are certain artists that are trending nowadays, not because they've got great content, but because they've got a good budget. You get it? So they're able to pay a number of people to post their songs, and then it seems like it's trending. But someone will say, no, but that's not even a good song. But the thing is, they have found a niche at ensuring that they are trending. And it's a business idea. So one needs to be able to adapt to such things. So that's where you find that there are certain artists that are heavily talented. They are not played as much because they might not know the details behind the scenes of what you need to do to trend. Others are using controversy to trend. Others try as much as possible to be as clean as possible to trend. Others just put out good music. So there are different sectors and different ways in which people are making music and sustaining themselves. But to go back to the question you asked, it's so difficult to be an artist and expect that you're going to be number one for the next 5 years straight. Practically almost impossible. You can be a relevant artist, but I can guarantee you'll be at number one, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Next month, there'll be another artist. That's just the honest truth. That is the way it is. So you need to be able to capitalize on any opportunity that you have where you are trending, make your money, invest wisely, and yeah. Unfortunately, no one out there gives out a manual book on what to do. Just like I equally, when I was talking about the Amarula song, I was not ready for that. So when money started coming in, it was just like, okay, let's go. You know, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy that. By the time I started buying property, the number of shows started reducing, and just like, okay, all right. So I reached a point of realization. I said, okay, personal stuff aside, let me get this, let me get this, let me secure this, let me secure this. Because I said, at least there should be something that will sustain me for the next few years.
Okay. In your circles, how real is the pressure to trend?
It is so real. I'll not lie to you. There are days when I've actually thought of, you know what, let me just say something that's really on my mind because this is just the truth. But then what has started happening nowadays is that people will easily shoot you down when you are speaking the truth and say, that person is just a hater. I'll give you a classic example. There's a video I once made whilst I was in Uganda. And I made that video because I posted a video. I think we went live, if I'm not mistaken. And I was received in one of the towns in Uganda. It's a place called Hoima. So Hoima is like in the outskirts of the capital city. And there, the tradition are motorbikes. There are lots of anyone that's been to East Africa, they know how borders are. That's like the best means of transportation. It's different from here. Here we've got all these rides and everything else. That side is motorbikes. So I do not know if many then did not understand why there are so many motorbikes that side, but it's like a tradition there. So as a way to honor somebody, they have all these bikers, like literally just honor you. So we had this whole motorcade with the bikes and security and that sort of thing. And I remember a couple of people were laughing, saying, hey, Roberto was received by people on bikes and goats. And I was just like thinking, do you really understand how big the brand is in this country? And the fact that I'm out here also promoting my country. So I made that video and I challenged people. I said, listen, if you find this to be cliche, show me a video of your favorite artist being received like the way I was received. Even just back home, show me. But you see, that's the thing. That was my question. And I said, it doesn't matter what you guys say. I'm just happy that I'm able to come out here and, you know, represent my country, promote my music, sing, whatever money I make. I might not buy the most fanciest of things. I'll probably just buy my socks. I like white socks, and I'll buy my underwear, and I'm good. But you see, the only thing that people picked out from there is I was bragging that I buy new underwear and socks. When the main question was, show me an artist back home that is received the way I'm received, I said, we need to learn how to honor people back home the same way that we're honored out of the country. But someone somewhere did not want to look at all the other critical information that I was talking about. They went and picked on what? Socks and boxers. The most irrelevant of things to talk about, that's what someone decided to push as a narrative to try and discredit me. But what was the question? Even today, if you ask people to say, what was the main question that I asked in that video? They don't know. Because someone pushed the narrative to say, I was bragging to say I just buy socks and boxers. But the question was, do we honor artists back home the way that we're honored when we're in other countries? No one ever answered that question. People were just bashing, hey, no, Roberto has become big-headed. Hey, what? That was a question. I simply said, whatever money I make, I'm still able to buy what? Socks and boxes. That's fine with me. So nowadays, people will misinterpret anything you say because they want to make you look bad. You talk about this, someone will say, oh, no, you're just a hater. It's almost like we cannot openly criticize one another when something is mediocre. Because if today I'm going to say, I don't understand why you're on this podcast putting on a jacket and, hey, as investor, he was putting on ABCD, 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 ABCD. But why can we not have a decent conversation? And why can I not give you an opportunity to ask me to say, what do you mean? Why are you saying I'm wearing this? If you look at the industry right now, there is no artist that has ever said anything or asked another artist a certain question and that artist has responded in the most mature manner. Please tell me one artist. Tell me. Tell me an artist that's ever criticized another artist and that artist has responded in the most mature manner. It's always this, that people come in and say, oh no, this person is just a hater, this one. But that's where the problem is. We want to define everything as hate. If I'm going to say, I think this song sounds like that song. There are times when you're in studio and all of us in a certain mood, we might not even realize there's another song that sounds like what we've made. Not because we did it on purpose, but because we listen to different things every day. It's like children. Yeah. Children will pick up certain words from different people. It's the same thing in music. Sometimes someone will press keys and chords that sound like a certain song, and you don't realize in that moment that it does sound like a certain song. But people will come and say, dude, do you realize that this song sounds like that song? They'll be like, oh my goodness, yes, you're right. But whenever someone says something like that, we always want to criticize them in the most negative way. So we have lost the platform where we can openly talk about certain things. I can openly say, I don't think I like Sui's new song. Because if it were me, I would have done ABCD, ABCD. The minute I say that, people will take it, I don't like it.
Do you guys, by you guys I mean musicians, do you respond the same way in person? Because someone will say, no, they'll criticize you for, why are you saying it on Facebook? Don't you have that artist's number? Why don't you call them? And so if you are with them in person, do they respond the same way they would on Facebook?
There are a few people that personally I would jokingly talk to about some of these things. And we can joke about it. Someone will be like, nah, it doesn't. I'm like, no, listen, like for real, let me play it for you. And we'll play and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. Personally, I do that. There are people, of course, that you can joke with on social media openly. The way I have banter with Manchester United fans, there are certain people who take it personal, but what they don't know is that amongst my peers, we know how we joke. But others, when they look at that, they take it, he's very bitter, but they don't know that we're just joking. Also, I feel one of the most important things is artist relationships or friendships. I fear that we might be heading a direction where we might not really have true friendship, but we are deceiving each other because I need you. There are a number of people that would rather associate with me only when I am trending because they feel they'll benefit from me. I'm speaking from experience. There was a time when I think I released a couple of songs and they weren't the most trending songs. And I could feel how I was not included in certain circles. I could see it, I could feel it. Then the minute you release a song and it's happening, then, where are you? Boy, come with you. Come we hang out. I'm just like thinking, wait a minute. How am I important now? So there's a lot of fake friendship out there. There are a few artists that are genuinely friends. And then there are a few artists that just like to jump on other artists' trends, other artists who are happening. Then, yeah. And that's the most unfortunate part because it's almost like you want to ride on that person's fame because they are happening. For me, maybe because that's just the way I am, I'll appreciate you. When I meet you, I'll tell you. I'm one of the few people, maybe, I don't know, but I'll speak for myself. When the song comes out, I will call you and I say, bro, this is a great song. This is an amazing song. I remember, I think when the J Cash song came out, I called him, I called the producer. I just told him, guys, this is amazing work.
Which song is that?
People Like Me, with Your Maps. So it doesn't hurt to call someone and say, guys, this is a good song. Let someone know, even behind the scenes, that you're appreciating that person. You get it? Just don't post someone on Facebook because you don't want people to say, no, because that person didn't post them. No. Some people are posting artists not because they like the song or the artist, but because they don't want to be bashed by people to say, you never posted this person. So who are you really as a person? Are you a truly supportive person? Or you just play pretend for social media? So there are all those things that we battle nowadays. So, hey man, it's a complex world.
Okay. Do you feel that you are a bigger artist outside Zambia than in Zambia?
I am a well-appreciated artist everywhere. So sometimes people will ask me that question and there is this narrative that, Roberto is bigger outside the country than here. No. I am well appreciated everywhere. And I'll give you a very good example. Let's take it, there's a relative of yours that you haven't seen in 3 years. When they come back, how happy are you to see them? Extremely happy, right? When you leave home in the morning and you go back, do you think you receive the same reception from your family when they see you and when they see someone that hasn't come or they haven't seen in 3 years?
Yeah, it's different.
Very different. I receive the same sort of response when I go to Choma, I go to Solwezi, I go to Chipata. These are places that I visit once in a while. And when I go there, the love is amazing. World class. It's the same thing that happens when I'm out of the country. When you're out of the country, the promoters always go the extra mile to do so much because it's part of promotion and that sort of thing. They have a budget in place. Here, of course, people have got different budgets, of course. So you'd be understanding of some of the technicalities that they kind of like look at, the budgeting and that sort of thing. So to say that I'm appreciated more outside the country than here, I think I would be misguiding yourself and the people out there. I believe my music is well appreciated globally, locally, and out of the country. And it's something that I do not take for granted. So whenever I go out of the country, the same way I perform when I'm there is the same way that I perform here, because I would not say, no, the people in Tanzania or Uganda or in France or the UK deserve a better performance than the people here in Zambia. Then who am I doing this for? You get it? The reason why my name is Roberto Zambia is because I want to be a true representative of this country. You know, when you look at me, you'd be like, this is our country's representative. So when I'm performing, wherever it is, here in Zambia or out of the country, my performance is one and the same.
All right. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
I don't like that question.
Oh, are you one of those who don't plan beyond the next 3 months?
No. I wish I was a prophet. Then I would give a very accurate answer.
No, but the ideal, really, based on the efforts you're putting in today.
It's a tough question, but of course we all have ambitions and desires. I'm not promised tomorrow, but given an opportunity to see tomorrow, I know that I'll give it my best. So with that said and put in mind, I want to take each day that comes between now and the next 10 years, almost like it's the last day that I have an opportunity to do amazing things and to be a better person. That's why I said I don't like that question, because then I'm just like thinking, that's stress, man. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And you know, it's a great challenge, of course, because then you're looking at the direction you're taking and what you want to do, how you want to execute. I love to plan ahead. So yeah, not to say that I don't have a plan for the next 10 years, but I'm just like thinking, okay, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? But yeah, we're praying that God gives us more grace and time to be amazing and be able to do great things for the next 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next question, Roberto, is if you were to give advice to young people, what 5 things would you give them as advice to reflect on?
I would say speak more to people that have had experience in certain fields. I'm speaking in general because I've ventured into different businesses that are away from entertainment or from music. And I have gotten to learn a lot just by interacting and engaging with people from different backgrounds. And if I had to start naming them one by one, I don't know if I'll be able to exhaust all of them, but I'll try. First and foremost, education is important. There are people out there that have spent 12 years in school and have not been able to achieve everything that they dreamed of. And then there are those that have spent maybe even just 7 years in school, but they're living the most lavish manner. And sometimes it can be so intimidating for someone that has been to school to say, but how come I've not been blessed? I've not been granted an opportunity to enjoy wealth the way someone who only reached grade 7 is doing. And I would say sometimes do not wait for opportunities. Create opportunities. It sounds like such a hard thing to do, but inclusion in certain circles is very important. I'm one person that has always been behind closed doors, just trying to just be content and be who I am. But if there's one person that has made me realize that it's important to interact and engage, it's my wife. And time again, she'd always say, there's a reason why whenever you go out, you come back with business cards. All those are opportunities. And that's just the truth. So that's why I say it's important for you to interact and engage with as many people as you can. People with a vision, people that have got ambition. That way, even if, for example, you have not been able to strike gold in something, you might find there's someone that knows someone that will help you do something. So do not wait for opportunities. Create opportunities. What else? I would say it's important to be expectant to be disappointed. We all want to be accepted. We all want to succeed in life, but leave room for disappointment. Always leave room for disappointment, because then you develop this thick skin that helps you understand life. And when you are disappointed, it's not something that breaks you totally. Of course, you're human. You will be disappointed and you'll be hurt. Some things will hurt terribly. It might take a day, it might take 2 days, a month or so, but you need to be able to withstand the pressure and, continue, because that's just a challenge. It's a hurdle. I always look at life almost like the way it is when you go in the fields. People that plant candolo or maize, they're ridges. You reach a high point, things start going down, you reach your lowest. Then going up is very difficult, but at some point, you reach there. So when you reach your pinnacle, you're able to see, okay, so this like this, like this, like this, like this. So when I'm down there, I need to work extremely hard. And those are things that one needs to be able to reflect on and say, that's just how the reality of life is. That's why I'm saying, be ready to be disappointed. Because if you think life is all about roses and the finer things, you'll be extremely hurt and disappointed. And now we have serious cases of mental health issues, people that are going through a lot. Others have been rejected by their parents. Others are single parents by themselves, and they are facing all sorts of challenges in life. But it isn't the end of the world. It isn't. Some things will be there to challenge you day and night. People are fighting family generational curses, and some receive money. Within a few days, it's gone. They don't even know where it went. All those are spirits that you can break, and you need to put God first. Keep praying for your resources. Pray for the right people to be around you. Pray for the right ideas to come your way. And it's important. So I could go on and on, but I would say there's a lot that one can learn just by interacting and engaging with people.
Yeah, that video will keep posting. No, thank you very much. I think it was a very good way to close. I think I like the wisdom expressed there.
Okay.
Because like I told you, I feel like there's more to you than just music. And
there is. There is. And I always feel like the few times that I try to be as objective as possible, there are people that always want to fish out negatives out of just the honest truth, and you find it a bit discomforting to kind of just tell the truth, because there are people out there that need to know the truth. And everything that I've done so far, I can guarantee you there's so many people that have benefited from just me telling the truth. Clear examples. The time that I said I don't want anybody uploading my videos on YouTube other than on my channel, people said we're not going to be doing this. If you remember, there was a trend where you release a song, you find 7-10 different YouTube pages uploading your video. But it's because I saw and I heard about these YouTube awards where if you clock 100,000, this and that, you know, you're able to monetize. And I thought this is the direction that I want to take. But people did not realize that. And I was criticized. I said, okay, it's fine. I went on ahead. When I received my YouTube awards, that's when everyone was just like, wait a minute, how did he do it? Now we have people celebrating 100,000. Everyone is posting it. But who started it? Who was criticized first? I was. When I said I don't want anyone uploading my music on any blog, distributing my music for free, people criticized me. They said, oh, he's become big-headed because of one song, Amarula. Amarula was not even my first album. I had my first album self-titled. There was Akasuba. There was My Name Is. Then there was Amarula. Fourth album, and people saying, oh, he's become big-headed. Who's now bragging about streaming? Oh, we've done million, Shanshan, ABCD. Who was criticized first? I was. So in all these stages, I have been criticized by just for telling the truth. You get it? And the thing is that people always want to fish out the negatives and make it look like, oh, he's a hater, he's ABCD. But I think it's important sometimes to just sit back and say, what can we learn from this person? And those that want to learn have always come to me and said, how do you do this? How have you done this? How have you done this? And I'm more than welcome to help. So there's really been a very negative narrative that has been put out there about me. So, oh no, he doesn't share this, he doesn't do it. But you need to know the type of person that I am. I just don't go out there with a card and say, all right, guys, listen, if you want to shanshan, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. You know me. Come, talk to me. I don't have to come out there on Facebook and say, okay, today I was helping this guy set up ABCD. So if you see him clocking shanshan, it's because of me. No. If I know something, I can privately tell you on the side and say, I'm doing ABCD. But just because you haven't approached me, you haven't spoken to me, then you want to go out there and say, no, Roberto doesn't do this, Roberto doesn't do this. No, you are the one with the problem because you haven't come to me. Not me, not the other way around. So I thought I'd just put it out there because I feel like there's a really wrong perception that has been put out there about me. And people believe anything that, you know, is is out there. So the truth at times takes really long for it to come out. And there are not so many people that like to share the truth out there. Yeah. They would rather share the negatives. If something happens somewhere, oh no, I'm on and shanshan with this person, they will spread it real quick. But
by the time the truth is catching up,
yeah,
it's too late.
But anyways, that's a story for another day.
I like the point you mentioned because when I said knowing you just for the music, I remember I had a conversation with Topsy from ZRA because he's a comedian and now he went into the corporate world. Yeah, and he says even there they want to drag you back to he's just a comedian. You get the point, right? But you have really built a legacy for yourself in the corporate world. It's been around. But just those just say, I'm. So you go to serious events, maybe networking events with your peers. Say something funny. It's like a seco. Because they want to steal, like you said, make you feel bad and bring you back to. Yes. But really, I feel like you've carved out a path for yourself, and it's good. And I hope that the younger generation also know. Yeah. Because I think people think it's cliche that no, fame comes and goes. It's cliche. But now these ones who are there now are able to make certain cautious decisions because they've got others to look at. That's right. But people who are in your generation had no one to look at and say, so today my decisions must be a bit more, mature, a bit more future focused. Yeah. I feel like it took the mistakes of you guys and those guys back there. Of course. For the generation now to look back.
We all have made mistakes along the way, and it's important to learn from those mistakes because no one is perfect. And along the way, you get advice sometimes, even from the strangest of people and places. You need to be open to being guided, and you also need to be aware that along the way, you might make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Even the day of the inauguration, any president, you notice maybe they thought they could go this way. Yeah. They thought, no, you have to go this way. Those are just simple mistakes. You're human error. You're not perfect. So long as you're able to understand, okay, this is a mistake, let me work on it, then you're good.
Roberto, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No, a pleasure was ours to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
So you guys remember that we have a masterclass coming on the 2nd of December. We look forward to having you there. And we hope that you've subscribed and also tell someone so that they can also watch it and learn a thing or two. Even if just one person learns something, that's enough. Enjoy yours.